Let's look at what's changing at home. Okay, here's data on home cooking. This is annual dinners prepared, whatever that means, and eaten at home over the last 25 years. If you go down the bottom, say 84, all the way up to 88, there's 2009, 2010's not in yet. It just takes to March to get the numbers in for the years. But here's the high back in, what, 92? We're almost up there, we're what, 5 short in 2009, where we were higher in 2010. 81% are now usually eating dinner at home. And there's a lot of reasons for this. Everybody thinks it's just the economy, it's gonna go away. It's not gonna go away. Why isn't it gonna go away? There's a couple of reasons. Number one, people are trying to eat healthier, and they think if they can control it and make it at home, they at least know what they're getting, so health is a factor, particularly if you have children. Number two, there's all this stuff about family time. If you're eating together with your family, it's good for the children, for their development, etc. Number three is the celebrity chef movement. You gotta practice this stuff. You just can't watch it every day, right? So you should see the sales of skillets are up 39% in 1 year. Oh, please. How many skillets can you use? It's because of these chefs. And now you've seen them. They're orange and they're pink, and I have them with the flowers somebody gave me. I mean, it's wackadoodle. And then over here, this is my favorite because I am a victim of this. I went out and said to my husband, I want one of those big TV screens. So we got one, and it's like no more going out. I got to stay home because I spent all the money on the TV screen. So we have these media centers now, and we have to watch it. So anyway, we are cooking at home a whole lot more. Number two, this is very interesting. Everybody thinks, oh, we're cooking at home. Young people are cooking at home. Every age group is cooking more at home, but we are cooking more from scratch. Fresh stuff. This is very good for a lot of the industries that are represented here. Here's, over the years, here's at-home scratch cooking. Look at that jump in the last couple of years. Now remember, we want healthier foods and fancier foods because we got all those gourmets out there. Now, one of the things you find is that the only group that are using more processed prepared products like kits or whatever are the younger group. And the reason is that is because they can't cook. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I can tell you stories that I live on the 37th floor in Manhattan when I was at Good Housekeeping. Do I have to use the high altitude directions on my cake mix? I don't think that's quite the same as Denver, but you never know. Okay, so like, and here's baking. You know, everybody's baking again. So look, sales of fancy flour baking ingredients jumped 19%. These things, breadcrumbs, lard, butter, cupcake tins. These things were dead in the water. You didn't want to own that stuff before. Check it out. Dried beans are up 18%. Rice, 17%. Lard, 14%. Because they're cooking again. And they want, if you're going to do it, you have to make it fancier. Got to make it easier. Fancy flour, fancy baking ingredients. Pecans is a perfect example. A lot of the nuts for baking, baking mixes, molasses and syrup. These are huge. If these went up 1%, you went out and partied. I mean, these things are going through the roof. So going back and looking at some of the basic ingredients, how can I make them fancier, more contemporary, more Americana, more regional, flavored? Like I said, flavored butters are big in Europe. Some basic adjustments to these things can, you know, these things are huge. The baking mix business is about $2.1 billion. All you need is a little tweak in there, and you make a very big success. Okay, now let's look at what's really changing in this cooking world and what can I make of it as I go into the food world. Well, one of the things, here you go, and this is what I mean about people can't cook. And this is a big issue. 42% of us know someone who's in desperate need of cooking skills. I know my husband's one, but that's not what I have in mind. It's these younger people. Now here we go. Here's your millennials. So these are the 18 to 33. And 54% are not experienced at all. They're trying to be. They're the fastest growing group of gourmet cooks. They're trying to be. So they're using all these things. So look what happened when they had to go back and cook because of the cost. Look what happened to microwave cooking. It's deader than a doornail, right? Microwaves start going through the roof. Because if you don't know how to cook, you start to use some of the appliances. And then we come along with our great technology like Bird's Eye Steam Fresh. Here's the potatoes. All they are is in a microwavable bag, and they have some seasoning packets in there. Even Ziploc now has bags. You can take the fresh whatever, peas, put them in the bag and put some stuff in there. They need cooking instructions and pop-up timers because they don't know really what they're doing. And all of a sudden, look at the success of these things. Number 3 best-selling product of the year. So we're going into another microwave era, this is saying, and then the products that maintain the high quality and the nutrition, because steaming keeps the nutrients in, are getting a big boost and will continue to get a big boost in the market. How about grilling? Oh my God, this is like a passion. Everybody's grilling. Look at the ranks of grilling in the United States. And the young people that don't know how to do it, how many of you have learned to grill? See, look at that, see? And what's interesting about this is it's forcing all kinds of new interests and types of meat, cuts of meat, but also in marinating. If you're in the sauce business, or you should go into the sauce business, almost 2/3 of people are using more marinating sauces and rubs. About 2/3 use some kind of marinade when they grill. They're grilling different things, pizzas and roasts. A big thing now is to grill a roast. Interesting. I mean, you sell a lot of beef that way. Full birds, and now appetizers are going on the grills. Veggies already went, but appetizers. And the other thing that's really interesting for marinades is look at the growth in the ethnic areas where a lot of marinating is prevalent. For example, in Chinese cooking, the interest in looking for recipes, takeout style Chinese, went up 200% last year on allrecipes.com, which is the biggest recipe site in the United States, probably in the world. Indian recipes went up 93%. And then we have all of these groups trying to buy less expensive cuts of meat. Smaller pieces are going further, but more chuck and things like that. And so they need the marinades to go along with them. Very interesting for the meat business right now. Small appliances. If you can't cook and you need some help, or if you don't have the time, out of the closet comes the Crockpot. Boomers are using they're the #1 Crockpot user. I mean, it's going through the roof. Here's your skillet number. I don't have it on this one, but look at this. Here's your Crockpot things. How about little potatoes that are a breed that really stands up in the Crockpot and doesn't get all mushy? Look at wok, foods for the wok. How interesting. How about sauces for the Crockpot, or all kinds of things? Anyway, as time gets more precious, this has become a very, very strong trend, and it's on the front burner. Appliance sales are going crazy again. Things like home coffee makers and popcorn makers and hand mixers, so you can make a smoothie at home instead of spending a lot more money for it outside of home. That's kind of what's driving it too. But it's very interesting. Now, here's my favorite slide in the whole thing. We're going to have a new way of cooking in this country as our 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds begin to have their own children and begin to dominate the market over the next 10 years or so. What do I mean by that? This is data from the Hartman Group, which is up in the state of Washington, and it is fascinating. Now, on the top here, the silent generation would be the older folks, the 60-plus group, and it's good for comparison, and this is the young group. What we see is a movement away from having your meals all prepared for you. And I don't want to get shot by any of you frozen food manufacturers. There'll still be a market for that, but by doing the complete meal. The younger groups see a different way of cooking. They don't want it all done for them. They want to participate in it. Maybe they want to put the egg in the baking mix if you're going to make a baking mix, and it sure as heck better be fancier and more gourmet. But you could say, just look at this, they're kind of in step, right? They're not too far off. Baking mixes, frozen entrees, frozen dinner bags full of stuff, voila, and all that. But look at what happens. What they really want are what we're calling helpers. I'm not sure what to call them yet. And that's things like marinating sauces, rubs and spices, stir-fry sauces, because what they want is fresh. They want to, you see the sales of things like frozen chicken breasts, frozen individually, or pork chops or whatever. Those things are, as expensive as they are going through the roof, frozen pieces of fish. They want to be able to take the same thing, let's say a breast of chicken or a leg of chicken, and make it taste different all the time. So maybe it's Thai one night, maybe they can do it to be more Italian, and then another night it's barbecue. okay? And so, and they want it to be fresh. Whether it was frozen and then they unthawed it, that's okay. But they don't want their meals put together for them. And then they want to add the different side dishes or whatever they want to do with it. They want the flavor flexibility, and they want it to be restaurant quality. Isn't this cute? These look like little sugar packets. They're spice mixes for a piece of chicken. And so all of these things, and that's how we're going to see cooking change. It's going to go to the fresh item, be it chicken, fish, whatever, or pieces of it, and then added it and made into a meal by the addition of these flavor types of things. This is really cool. These are sauces in aerosol cans from the UK. Very cool. By the way, in the UK, 50% of all food technology jobs are open. If you want to move to London, they can't find enough people by any stretch of the imagination to fill their jobs. Australia, same thing. Who wants to go to London? Okay, now, it's interesting because, again, we said about the ethnic differences. What do they want to eat? This is how different they are. Look at this. Number one, and the blue is the young people. This is if for cooking at home. First of all, how do they want to do it? They want pre-packaged ingredients and flavors. Let's see, one of these is a whole kit. Heat and serve, so in other words, that only 7% want it already made. All they got to do is take it home and warm it. Do they want, what's this one? I can't see. Prepackaged ingredients, that's what they want. So this is steak rubs and all this kind of stuff. But look at this. Number 3 is uniquely seasoned marinated meat. They don't want Italian food anymore because they're bored with it. They want regional Italian. Hey, the Olive Garden taught us that you can have Northern Italian and all the different provinces of Italy. So it's India. It's interesting. Spanish, Japanese. Japanese is very strong. New Orleans, Creole, Greek, Thai, Indian, etc. So here we come with a different way of cooking to appeal to these age groups as we grow. It is very good for the basic commodity groups, very, very strong for flavor, and then we have to find a way of making it easier for them to cook and feel really good about it. And lastly, before we go on to the local stuff, one of the hottest trends in this country, and people don't get this, I don't understand, is home entertaining. If it's gotten so expensive to go out, you entertain friends at home, right? And actually the highest number of entertaining events is for people 18 to 24. You invite somebody over to watch a movie, watch TV, play a game, whatever you want to do. And it's a whole new ballpark. 44% of adults in America entertained more at home in 2010 than in 2009. And the number's huge. It's like 50% of all adults have someone over once every 2 weeks. It's huge. And so what do you do when you entertain? Well, you put your best foot forward, usually, unless it's your brother. Like my brother, I wouldn't. He gets potato chips. But they try to do gourmet foods. The boomers, here's what they do. They have snacks. They have a casual meal or buffet. It's not that formal. And about half have more of a sit-down dinner. Isn't this a cool product? This is from Hormel. It's already seasoned pork. It's in its own little dish. I mean, nobody can screw this up. You put it in your oven, and then you dispose of the little flexible tray. So we're looking for fancier foods. 30% visit a butcher when they have people over. You know, it's probably in the supermarket, but it's driving people back to more specialty cuts. They want to impress their guests. They're using these deli platters. And then in the restaurant side, there's going to be a big boost in those little catering platters that you can take out from just about any restaurant. And they are willing to pay a lot more for snacks from what the data will show.